On episode 388 of Nintendo Switchcraft, the last word on Gizmodo, GameStop disappoints us all, Microsoft says no, and lots of feedback from you. Those stories and more on this episode of Nintendo Switchcraft.
Hey, this is Mr. Strauss from La Mesa Junior High School, and you're listening to the sweet and smooth sounds of Nintendo Switchcraft. Stick around.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Switchcraft. It is brought to you live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. If you want to watch those live with the chat, you can join us over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, or on Saturdays, you can join us over at youtube.com/runjumpstomp. It's really easy. Go there, hit the follow button, go to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and you get notified every time we go live. This episode of Switchcraft is made possible by patrons. Get Switchcraft and my other content ad-free for as little as $1 by joining us over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. You can leave a voicemail for the show, just like you heard at the very beginning, by going over to runjumpstomp.com/voicemail from any device, and I may even play it on the show. Before we get started with Nintendo news, I just have one quick update about the Gizmodo stuff. This is going to take like 30 seconds, so start your stopwatches and go. I recently posted a video over on my YouTube channel that basically outlines the fact that Gizmodo has issued a retraction, and the author apologized. And if you want more information, go to youtube.com/runjumpstomp and you can watch that there, or go to runjumpstomp.com and you can find the show notes for episode 388, and then you'll have a link that takes you to that video as well. With that being said, it's time to talk Nintendo. So let's not tarry.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas.
All right, I'm going to tell you what's going to be really, really exciting to a lot of people, and that's that there's a demo out for Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition, and we've got that demo. It is out now. In fact, I'll reach over and grab my Nintendo Switch, and we'll see how the download is coming. And look at that, it finished. We're all done downloading Dragon Quest XI demo. Now, this is a demo that I was very interested in checking out. And the reason I was interested in checking out this demo, which was just tweeted out by Nintendo of America, they said, begin your quest as the Luminary with the Dragon Quest XI, blah, blah, blah. Download right now. And then they gave you a link. By the way, I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but if you go to Nintendo's website, you can install games on your Switch directly from their website. You just click it and it starts installing, which is really, really cool. But anyway, this game, I have it on my PS4, and I've played a bunch of it, and I've really enjoyed what I've played so far. But having it tied to my PS4 means that I can only ever play it when I'm in this room, because this is where my PS4 lives. So the idea of being able to take it wherever I want for these much longer games just makes a whole lot of sense to me. And so this is a game I may end up double dipping on, which I've done quite a few times on quite a few titles. But I may end up double dipping on to get this on the Nintendo Switch. And there's just so many reasons why I would want to. There's extra quests that I'll probably never play because I get distracted by shiny things. The cool 2D mode that they added as well, that lets you play the game like it would if it were if it were on a 16-bit system. And I'm really excited to try out this demo and see how it compares to the PS4 version. I know that the graphics won't be as good, but that usually matters when I'm looking at the games side by side. So I'm excited to try out this demo, and it might be the last nail in the coffin for what needs to convince me to pick this up. That being said, I also have Link's Awakening it's less than a month away for Link's Awakening. So I have to keep that in mind. Plus, I'm still playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm on chapter 8, and I'm like 30 something hours in the game, and I'm having so much fun with it. But I've just got so much to play right now, and adding Dragon Quest XI S to my Switch library is definitely something I want to do. But it might be something that I just wait and do much, much later, like when it goes on sale or something. Speaking of games that I probably won't pick up unless it's on a ridiculous sale, but I think a lot of people will, and a lot of people are really going to like, that is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. And man, they're like this close to convincing me. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. You throw some 8-bit graphics or 16-bit graphics in front of me, and I'm like, oh, would you like my money? Here it is. Here you go. And I hand it over. Because watching the demos for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, I was like, okay, it looks like a fun little sports game that I will ignore. You know what? I'm going to pause for just a second because somebody in the live chat just asked a very important question, and I want to make sure I tell everybody. If you get that demo for Dragon Quest XI S, your progress in that demo does carry over to the full game when you end up getting the full game, which if you get the demo, you probably will because it's a really good game. Anyway, back to Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. They recently posted this video on YouTube, which showcases something really amazing. The idea is that they also have features in this game where you are two-dimensional. So now you are, it's 8-bit Mario racing against Sonic, or doing the long jump, or Sonic doing dives, or Peach doing hurdles, all in classic 2D. It looks so good, and it's very, very compelling to me. And they even have like Toad volleyball. I mean, it just looks fun. Looks really, really fun. So this is a game that I wasn't terribly interested in before I saw this, and somehow this might be the thing that convinces me to pick up Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Tokyo 2020, because it's so damn charming. And that game comes out, oh gosh, it just said it on the screen and I closed it, and it comes out November 5th. This seems like a fun game that I might get and play with my son, or I might even be able to convince my wife to play a game like this, because it's not like a super high skill game. At least it doesn't seem like it, in my opinion. It just seems like something that's fun, and maybe something where we can sit around the TV and have a blast in a way that Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch just didn't really deliver for us. We played it a couple of times and we just didn't love it. And anyway, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics has that 2D stuff, and God, it looks really, really good. I think it's exciting. All right. We've got this is really disappointing. For those of you who don't know, Trine is this really cool game that you play as a wizard, a thief. I think she's a thief, maybe an archer. I don't know. A wizard, a thief, and a knight. And the knight is like this big fat guy, and which is awesome because his armor is fat too. The wizard can like draw these shapes on the screen, and they become real objects. And then the thief, or whatever she has the ability to like grapple to things and swing, as well as fire arrows and that kind of stuff. And overall, Trine is an awesome game. I played it on Steam ages ago. It's really, really fun. It's a fun little puzzle game. And basically you have to solve puzzles using these different characters, and various characters have different ways to solve the puzzle. So while you might go through and solve the puzzle using this character, I may go through and solve the puzzle a completely different way using another character. And it's really cool. Well, Modus Games tweeted out the fact that it's coming to Nintendo Switch, and they were asking, Trine 4 is coming to Nintendo Switch, and they were asking who's excited, and Elena Kaiser, I don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry, Elena. Elena said that they were excited, but they had a question. Are all 4 games on the Switch cartridge, or are some a download code? And sure enough, Trine replied, and they said, unfortunately, we had to make some changes to the plan. Sorry for the misinformation with the inconvenience this is causing you. We did originally plan to have all games on the same cartridge, but it does not seem like it's going to happen. Our apologies. So then basically they said, so what you're saying is there's no way to get 1 through 3 on the cart outside of the US. And this is kind of a big deal. Now, why is this a big deal? Because apparently Gamestop is the publisher of this game, Gamestop is the publisher of Trine 1 through 3 physical release. And you can only get those in the US. So if you go out and you get the Trine 4 thing that comes with 1 through 3, 1 through 3 are only digital. So there's no way for you to get those outside of the US, which is really kind of lame. Now, 1 through 3 has all 3 games on the same cart. Trine 4 just has Trine 4, and then 1 through 3 are the digital downloads. I don't know. It's confusing and dumb, and GameStop they've stepped on a lot of landmines recently. They just laid off. I think it was like 40% of their workforce. I could be wrong about that number, so don't quote me on that. They laid off a large portion of their workforce. In addition, I think they pretty much closed down Game Informer, the magazine. Although, to be honest, while I think that Game Informer probably was doing good work, how relevant is a magazine in this day and age where, we know stuff ahead of time? I haven't looked at a magazine in ages. The reason I have not looked at a magazine in ages is because all of the information in magazines tends to be outdated by the time I get to it. Or not necessarily outdated, but I already knew it all because we have access to the internet. So I can see why they would close that. But a lot of people really liked Game Informer magazine. Not me, not because I didn't think that they were doing a good job, but because it was a magazine. So I think a lot of people are going to be upset about this whole thing with Trine series. Just keep in mind, it's not the developer's fault. GameStop has made this decision, and they're the ones that you can shake your pitchforks at. But at the end of the day, I really don't think it's going to do much. You can still buy those games 1 through 3 digitally. You just can't buy them physically. And I know that there's people who only buy physical games, so they might be upset about that. Ivan Rodriguez in chat says, they did the same thing with Final Fantasy X and X-2. X-2 was a download only, even if you bought the cartridge. And they're not the only ones to do that. Let's see. Capcom did the same thing with some of their Resident Evil games. Who else did that recently as well? It's not just GameStop that's doing it. Look, Nintendo went with a cartridge-based medium because the Switch is a portable system, right? And it makes sense to go with a cartridge-based medium for a portable system. But cartridges can be expensive. Now, some developers do the right thing, and they put everything on the cartridge. CD Projekt Red, I'm looking at you. They put The Witcher 3 plus all of the DLC on the cartridge. That's 32 gigs, right? That's an insane it's just an insane amount of content to put on one of those cartridges. So like CD Projekt Red, well done. Let's everybody congratulate them on doing something awesome. I reported on this a while back. But then you get other companies that do things like this where Trine 1, 2, and 3, they're not that big. There's no reason that GameStop, as the publisher, can't make the decision to buy cartridges that are a little bit more expensive and eat that cost in order to give players what they want. Does this affect me? Not at all. First off, I'm really not planning on buying the Trine games. I've already played Trine 1. I had a lot of fun with it. Trine 2 seems like more of the same. Trine 3 seems like more of the same. And Trine 4 seems like more of the same to me. I had fun with it, but it wasn't enough that I want to run out and do it again. So that doesn't affect me. And even if I did want those games, I wouldn't run out and buy a physical copy because I'm a digital guy. I like to have games digitally. Although I will say, the one game that I would definitely buy physically for the Switch would be The Witcher 3, because 32 gigabytes is a massive footprint on your storage, and being able to have that all on the cartridge is just fantastic. So this is the same argument that we've had many times. Cartridges are expensive. Publishers either need to learn to bite the bullet and eat a little bit of that cost in order to give us a better experience, or don't put out a physical version of the game unless everything's on the cartridge. That's just how I feel about it. If CD Projekt Red can do it, then so can anybody else. Now, one more example that I'll give you, Doom. All right, Doom 2016, when it came to the Switch, it had the game on there, but all of the multiplayer stuff was a download. That one I forgive just a little bit more, because a lot of people will only play the single player and they'll never have the download stuff. But I still think that stuff could have been on the cart, especially if CD Projekt Red can do it with The Witcher. All right, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, so let's move on. We've got some information about PAX West. You're going to be able to. This comes from Nintendo press releases, which I tend to put these on my website. I don't always talk about them on the show, but whenever Nintendo sends out a press release, I will. You know what? I'm going to stop what I'm saying right now. And IKS81 does have a good point. They said, I don't think GameStop can afford to eat any cost right now. They just laid off a ton of people yesterday. Sure, they laid off a ton of people, but that cost, I bet you a lot more people, if they would make the right decisions on how to run their business, in my opinion, they wouldn't be hemorrhaging money quite so badly. All right. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I just think that GameStop, every time I pick up the phone and call GameStop to see if they have something in common, I have to listen to somebody, like, they answer their phone. Hey, thank you for calling GameStop, where you can pre-order this, and this, and you can also get insurance on this, and that. Do you want to do any of this today? And then, okay, how can I help you? Like, that's annoying. Every time I go in there and I buy something, they always hassle me about, do you want to get this worthless insurance on your Nintendo Switch card that you're never going to use? Do you want to make sure you get scratch protection on your disc? And sure, discs get scratched. I understand that. But if I want that protection, then I'll ask for it. And I know that there's a lot of people that disagree with me. Okay. I'm kind of ranting now, and I didn't plan on this, but okay, this goes back to my days in retail. In the U.S., and I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in the U.S., we have something called secret shoppers. All right? Secret shoppers are people who are paid by the company that you work for to come in and shop, and then tell them how good of a job you did following that company's policies and what their customer service was like, right? So I worked at a bookstore, and I would like to, just leave people alone. And if they have a question, be there and answer their question and help them find the thing that they want. But what instead has to happen is every time I see a customer, I have to go hassle them. And as somebody who goes into stores and wants to be left the hell alone, I don't like to be hassled. If I want help, I will ask for help. So it always drove me crazy. And then we would be at the register, and they would come up, and I had to ask them, hey, do you want to buy this, or this? Which I found irritating. If I wanted to buy those things, I would have picked them up and put them in front of the register for you to ring me up. I don't need, I can't stand it when the people behind the register, who incidentally are just doing their job, so I'm not mad at them, I'm mad at the company policy that facilitates them doing this, but those people hassle me because of their company policy. It's very irritating, and GameStop is one of the worst about that. Whenever you go in, they hassle the hell out of you. Anyway, I've gotten off topic, and I'm going to move back on, and I should probably ignore chat and not look at it because it gets distracting with all of the shininess. Okay, real quick. We had a press release from Nintendo. Every once in a while, whenever they post these, I share them on runjumpstomp.com. So make sure you go to that website so you can see that stuff. But they said they've got some information about the Galar Visitors Center, and you're going to be able to check that stuff out at PAX West. That'll be our first chance to see that. So make sure that if you're going to PAX West that you stop by the Pokemon booth for more information on that. I'm not going to spend any time on that because I just don't think it's terribly interesting. All right. Gosh, I have a bunch of stuff to get through. That rant took a lot of time up. I apologize for that. Let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors. When we get back, I've got 2 quick stories that I'm going to talk about and then a bunch of feedback. So stick around.
Good times.
Okay, everybody, we are back from that break. Thank you very much for our sponsors for helping us out. And let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has been bringing, as a publisher, they have been bringing games to the Nintendo Switch. And I have been saying this is because Microsoft as a publisher, they see the fact that if it sells on some other system, then they still make money. I've been saying that, and I still feel like that's a really good argument. However, Microsoft has recently said that that's not necessarily the case. I mean, it's not like they were trying to rebut my my idea, but they have a different reason for what they're doing this for. This comes to us through Gamasutra, and there's a quote here from, I can't see who it was that said it, but let me just read this for you. All right. It says, as these new studios, by the way, so Microsoft bought a bunch of studios. Okay. So then this is the quote. As these new studios transitioned in as to, came into being with Microsoft, we were aware of some existing commitments to other platforms and will honor them. However, going forward, these new studios will focus on making games for our platforms. We have no plans to further expand our exclusive first-party games to other consoles. We continue to believe deeply in crossplay and progression of games with the right flexibility for developers to ensure a fair and fun experience. Okay. So that seems like we're not going to get any more games that are published by Microsoft on a Nintendo platform. Look, I don't believe this for a second. I don't think that they're lying. I just think that they are saying, look, we don't want to talk about any of this. We don't want to talk about the games that we publish being on other platforms. We want to talk about our platform. And when we're ready to talk about other platforms, then we'll talk about other platforms. So do I think that Halo is going to come to the Nintendo Switch? I think it's still a possibility, but it's not a very good possibility. However, some of the second-party titles that are still published by Microsoft but developed by other studios, I think that makes a lot of sense for them to say, we're not going to put in the work to do it, but we'll let our developers put in our second-party contractors put in the work to do it, and we'll just rake in the money afterwards. So when they say we have no plans to, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Let's get a little history lesson here. Diablo. Blizzard specifically said, we have no plans to port Diablo 3 to Nintendo Switch. They said that multiple times. I talked about Diablo on this show for probably 6 damn months because, there was here's a rumor that it's coming. And then Activision Blizzard would say, no, it's not. And it would just keep going back and forth. And then finally, by the way, here it is. So them saying we have no plans doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It just means that they don't want to talk about it right now. And I don't think that we'll see Halo on the Switch, but I do think that we will see other stuff that is published by Microsoft and developed by other studios. That's just how I look at it. Really quick before we go anywhere, or before we get to the feedback. Damn it, the feedback may actually have to go to the next episode. I'm sorry. Real quick before we wrap up the show, I guess, we've got this headset coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and it's not just for Nintendo Switch, but here's the thing. It has a USB dongle. It's a wireless headphones, or a wireless pair of headphones. This is just announced over at Gamescom, I believe. And it's from Asus, and they call it the ROG Strix Go. It is a wireless headphone or wireless headset for the Switch. So what does that mean? Well, your Switch has a USB-C port on the bottom rather than a USB port on the bottom. So most wireless headsets won't work with it. Most Bluetooth headsets don't work with a lot of consoles. It's because the consoles use their Bluetooth for other things. I still think that they could do better, but whatever. Let's forget about that. This one, you can plug in this port or this little dongle to the bottom of your Nintendo Switch, and now you have wireless Nintendo Switch headphones, which I think is fantastic. I hate wires. Now, as far as these headphones go, there's a design choice that they've made that I hate like so much more than anything else about any headphones, and that's when you have a microphone that you can't remove. And just from the picture, it looks like it's a microphone that you can't remove. I can't stand that. I don't want to always have the microphone. Like the headphones that I use, which are pretty expensive, mind you. The headphones that I use, the microphone tucks away inside, which I never use that microphone because I have this microphone. But like that microphone, it's pretty subtle. It doesn't stick out all the time. If you're walking around listening to music, do you want to have that thing out in front of you? Probably not. This has one feature that I think is important, and that means that you can use this on the Switch Lite. All right. So the Switch Lite is not dockable. You can get a headset like mine and plug a USB headset into it, a wireless USB headset, and it's going to work fine. But the Switch Lite is not dockable because, just because Nintendo decided that it shouldn't be. So this is a wireless headset that will work with the Switch Lite. I anticipate that they will probably sell a lot of these, and I think that it looks pretty comfortable. But again, that microphone out in the front just looks real bad. All right, guys, listen. I've got a pile of feedback to get through. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at how much news comes out tomorrow. And if there's a bunch of stuff that I'm going to have to talk about on the next episode, then I will do a Switch Lite to cover all of this feedback from you guys. And if there's not, then I will push the feedback to the next episode. But that's it for this episode. So if you want to become a part of the community, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. There's a really important thing that I wanted to mention. Join our Discord, okay? In the Discord, in the announcements section, there is an explanation. Actually, let me bring it up because I want to make sure I get the wording right. I just don't want to screw that up. So let me bring this up. Here it is, right here. Where is the show? All right. So I'm trying an experiment. All right. Starting on August 31st of August, every single week, and August 31st is practically September. So we're just going to count that as September. All right. So every week in September on Saturday, I will give away either a $5 or a $10 eShop gift card in the supporters channel of the Discord. Now, in order to access the supporters channel, you have to be a supporter. This is as a thank you to those of you that support Nintendo Switchcraft or Run Jump Stomp in general. All right. So you might ask yourself, how do I access the supporters channel? There's a bunch of ways. First off, you can join the Patreon. If you join the Patreon for as little as $1 a month, you can have access to the supporters channel. If you are a YouTube member, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the join button down below. That's the wrong way. The join button down below. And there's a bunch of different tiers for how you can join on YouTube. That is for as little as $2 a month is the lowest tier on YouTube. Or you can become a Twitch subscriber. If you have Amazon Prime, you can become a Twitch subscriber for free. Or if you want to subscribe with like a regular tier 1, you can do that through $5 a month on Twitch. So every week on Saturday through September, I'm either going to be giving a $5 or $10 eShop gift card as a giveaway to supporters. And you can access the giveaway through the Discord channel that is labeled supporters, and only supporters can see that channel. So right now, we're giving away a $10 eShop gift card. That is going to, the giveaway happens on the 31st. Right now, only 9 people have entered. So your chances of winning it are pretty good. So make sure that those of you who are already supporters, hop in there, connect your Discord account. And by the way, I can't help anybody with connecting your Discord account to your other accounts. If you can't figure out how to do that, use Google. And if Google doesn't help you, reach out to Discord support so that they can help you. Every time I do something like this, I get a bunch of messages. How do I connect it? I'm not going to help people with that because I can't respond to everybody. Anyway, so there you go. I almost forgot about that. I actually did a giveaway in the supporters channel last week for a code for a game that I can't remember which game it was. And I forgot to mention it every single day on the podcast. And it was up for a week. The giveaway was going for a whole week, and I forgot to talk about it every single day. So sorry about that. In fact, I may actually edit and put this at the beginning of the show, in which case, if you just heard this at the beginning of the show, then you might be like, why is he talking about the beginning of the show? This is the beginning of the show. Very meta stuff. All right. Become a part of the community over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. You can also watch the show live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. You can get a hold of me on Twitter at runjumpstomp. You can email me, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, I already talked about ways you can support the show, but there's more over at runjumpstomp.com/thank you. The music you're hearing right now is Corneria Star Fox remixed by Noteblock. It's awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. And just keep playing Nintendo games. Bye.